Welcome back to Red's View. Manchester United wasted no time after the September international break, with players reporting back to Carrington on Monday to begin preparations for Sunday's crucial Manchester derby at the Etihad Stadium. Under the watchful eye of Ruben Amorim and his coaching staff, both senior professionals and promising academy talents were put through their paces in 2 intense sessions across Monday and Tuesday. Monday's return session was designed to ease players back into rhythm following international duty while setting the tone for derby week. Those who featured heavily for their countries underwent light recovery drills, while the rest of the squad completed high-intensity conditioning and small-sided games to sharpen sharpness and movement. Young players drafted into the group gained valuable experience by working alongside established stars, helping create a competitive yet focused environment. On Tuesday, the intensity stepped up significantly. Amorim oversaw tactical drills that focused on defensive shape and quick transitions, areas United will need to be precise in against City's relentless possession play. The squad also worked extensively on pressing triggers, with particular emphasis on coordinated movement between the midfield and front line. A finishing drill rounded off the session, with Bruno Fernandes, Benjamin Sesko, and Brian Mbeumo all standing out in front of goal. The energy and concentration on display highlighted the players' determination to carry momentum from the Burnley victory into the weekend's derby. The sessions also offered an opportunity for the coaching staff to assess the fitness of returning players. Lisandro Martinez remains the only confirmed long-term absentee as he continues his recovery from a cruciate ligament injury suffered in February. Matheus Cunha and Mason Mount, who were forced off in United's last outing before the break, took part in tailored programs on the side as they edge closer to full fitness. Diogo Dalot, who withdrew from Portugal duty with a muscle problem, was also monitored closely, with his involvement later in the week expected to provide a clearer picture of his availability. With United holding a win, draw and defeat from their opening 3 Premier League matches, the derby represents both a test and an opportunity. Training over the past 2 days has underlined Amorim's clear tactical focus and the squad's growing togetherness, with youngsters contributing to the intensity of sessions and senior players setting the standard. The Reds know that victory would not only secure bragging rights in Manchester, but also mark a significant statement of intent early in Amorim's tenure. As preparations continue through the week, United's blend of hard work, tactical planning and renewed confidence could prove vital in their bid to secure back-to-back wins at the Etihad Stadium for the first time since 2020. Again and again. With a new goalkeeper and the bomb squad gone, are Manchester United ready to kick on? Manchester United entered the new season with a mixture of cautious optimism and lingering uncertainty after enduring the worst Premier League campaign in their history, finishing 15th and suffering the heartbreak of a Europa League final defeat to Tottenham Hotspur. This summer was always going to be a decisive one. Fans demanded change, and the club delivered both in terms of arrivals and departures. Yet, the early weeks of the season suggest Ruben Amorim's side still has plenty to prove. After recording just 44 goals last season, their lowest ever tally in the Premier League, this injection of firepower was not a luxury, but a necessity. Equally significant was the clear-out. The so-called bomb squad, players who had underperformed or lost their place, were moved on. Marcus Rashford departed for Barcelona on loan. Jadon Sancho joined Aston Villa on a temporary basis. Antony returned to Real Betis permanently. And Alejandro Garnacho completed a surprise £40 million switch to Chelsea. These exits not only lightened the wage bill, but also symbolised a fresh start. For United, it was about wiping the slate clean. For the players, it was a chance to revive their careers elsewhere. Another long-standing issue addressed was the goalkeeper position. Last season saw both Altay Bayindir and Andre Onana struggle with costly mistakes, eroding defensive confidence. United turned to Lammens in hope of stabilising the backline. If he can bring reliability where his predecessors faltered, Amorim will finally have a platform to build from. Despite the squad overhaul, the start to the season has been mixed. A humiliating cup exit to Grimsby Town reignited old frustrations, while narrow defeats to Arsenal and dropped points against Fulham left fans questioning Amorim's tactical balance. A scrappy 3-2 win over Burnley, sealed by a last-minute Bruno Fernandes penalty, provided some relief, but performances have yet to convince. With a Manchester derby against City and a home clash with Chelsea looming, the pressure is already mounting on Amorim. These fixtures may well shape not just United's season, but also their manager's long-term future. Still, there are reasons for cautious hope. United proved last season they can rise to big occasions, beating City at the Etihad and holding Chelsea to a draw. If Amorim can unlock chemistry between Cunha, Mbeumo and Sesko, the Red Devils could finally rediscover the goal-scoring threat they so desperately lacked. Add a settled goalkeeper to the equation, and the foundations of a revival are in place. The ultimate question, however, remains unanswered. Have United's summer moves truly transformed them into contenders? Or will early season stumbles snowball into another campaign of frustration? The dead wood has been cleared, the attack reinforced, and a new keeper installed. On paper, the tools are there. Now it is up to Amorim and his players to prove that this time, Manchester United are ready to kick on the different pages. Manchester United returned to action after the September international break with one of the season's most highly anticipated fixtures. The Reds make the short trip across town for the 197th Manchester derby, with Ruben Amorim's side seeking consecutive victories at the Etihad Stadium for the first time since 2020. Standing in their way is a Manchester City team that began the campaign in ruthless form, but showed signs of vulnerability with stumbles against Tottenham Hotspur and Brighton and Hove Albion. This derby has all the ingredients of a headline Premier League encounter, and it promises to shape the narrative of the early season. United, who edged above their rivals in the table courtesy of Bruno Fernandes's dramatic late penalty against Burnley, will be looking to continue building momentum under Amorim. City, meanwhile, will aim to rediscover their clinical rhythm and reassert their dominance. In terms of team news, United's only confirmed long-term absentee remains Lisandro Martinez, who is continuing his recovery from a cruciate ligament injury suffered in February. However, there are fresh concerns over key players. Matheus Cunha and Mason Mount both picked up knocks in United's last outing before the break, while Diogo Dalot withdrew from Portugal duty with a muscle problem. Updates on all three are expected when Amorim addresses the media on Friday. City also enter the derby with their own injury headaches. Ryan Cherki has been ruled out until at least November with a thigh problem, while Mateo Kovacic continues his recovery from an Achilles injury, but could be close to a return. Defensive stalwart Josko Gvardiol missed City's recent fixtures and international duty with Croatia, but there is optimism around his availability. Further boosts could come in the form of Phil Foden, who sat out England duty with an ankle knock but looks set to feature, and John Stones, who withdrew from the national squad with minor muscle issues. Guardiola is expected to confirm the latest on these players, along with Savinho and Abdulkadir Kusanov, during his pre-match press conference on Friday afternoon. United's form heading into the derby has been mixed. A frustrating start to the campaign brought just 1 point from fixtures against Arsenal and Fulham, followed by a surprise Carabao Cup exit to Grimsby Town on penalties. However, the win against Burnley at Old Trafford provided a much-needed lift. Despite missing several chances, Amorim's men showed grit to find a last-minute winner through Fernandes and move above City in the standings. The derby also comes after an important transfer window for both clubs. United concluded their business with the late addition of young Belgian goalkeeper Lammens, joining fellow summer recruits Matheus Cunha, Bryan Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko. City, on the other hand, oversaw a significant reshaping of their squad, bringing in 6 senior players and 3 goalkeepers, while saying goodbye to several long-serving names at the Etihad. With both teams refreshed from the international break, all eyes now turn to the Etihad Stadium. For United, the clash represents not just a chance to secure bragging rights, but also an opportunity to make a statement under Amorim. For City, it is a test of resilience as they look to respond to recent setbacks and show their title credentials once again. Again and again. Manchester United fans, the Spanish media, have been making noise again, this time about Marcus Rashford's future at Barcelona. But is there really any truth in claims that Barca could send him back to Old Trafford early? Let's break it down. Rashford finally secured his dream move to Barcelona this summer, joining on loan from United with an option to buy for €30 million next year. The move came after he rebuilt his confidence during a short but impressive loan spell at Aston Villa, where he chipped in with 4 goals and 6 assists across all competitions. Barcelona turned to Rashford after missing out on Luis Diaz and Nico Williams, and his versatility, being able to play both up front and out wide, made him an attractive option for Hansi Flick's squad. But despite the optimism, Rashford has had a slow start. In his first 3 competitive games, he's yet to register a goal or assist. That's all it took for parts of the Spanish press to jump on him. Some reports even went as far as claiming that Barcelona could pay to break the agreement and send him back to United, with the suggestion that they'd owe around €5 million if they cancelled the deal before the end of the season. But here's the truth. Those rumours have already been shut down. Spanish football expert Guillem Balag came out strongly to deny them, saying on X, "Absolutely rubbish that Barcelona is planning to end up early Marcus Rashford's loan deal. Barca told his representatives they have full confidence in him and believe he will recover as a top player. Barcelona are backing Rashford, and they believe it's only a matter of time before he shows his quality. And remember, this kind of early pressure is nothing new. In Spain, the media often target big-name signings for quick headlines, especially when results aren't instant. Even Gary Lineker has weighed in, criticizing the unfair treatment Rashford has received so far. So, despite the noise, the reality is simple. Rashford isn't going anywhere. Barcelona are standing behind him, and they fully expect him to come good once he adapts to life in La Liga. Manchester United supporters, what do you think? Will Rashford shine at Barca and convince them to make his move permanent? Or is this just another bump in the road? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again and again. Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana set to leave Old Trafford after he agreeing to join Trabzonspor on loan for the remainder of the 2025-26 season. The move comes just days after United completed the signing of Belgian goalkeeper Lammens on transfer deadline day, a deal that immediately shifted the balance in the club's goalkeeping department. With Lammens arriving to compete for the #1 spot and Altay Bayindir still in contention, Onana quickly found himself pushed out of the picture. The Cameroon international had endured a difficult start to the new campaign, with his errors in the Carabao Cup shock defeat to Grimsby Town only adding to the concerns. Reports also suggest that Onana's relationship with head coach Ruben Amorim deteriorated over the summer, leaving little chance for him to recover his place in the side. For United, confidence in Onana had reached rock bottom, and with Amorim keen to reset the squad under Ineos's new era, the club saw no issue in sanctioning his departure once an agreement was found with Trabzonspor. Although the English transfer window has closed, Turkey's market remains open, allowing the move to take place. Transfer expert Graham Bailey has confirmed that United and Onana were both aligned on the deal, with the club preferring to keep Bayindir as competition for Lammens, while Onana himself pushed for a new challenge. With the African Cup of Nations approaching, it was also vital for Onana to secure regular football this season, something that would not have been possible had he remained at Old Trafford. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Amorim and United's hierarchy view Lammens as more than just a backup option. The 23-year-old Belgian is rated extremely highly within the club and is seen as a long-term solution in goal. United want him to play, to gain experience, and to establish himself quickly, rather than spend the season on the bench. This belief in Lammens' potential ultimately accelerated Onana's departure, as the former Inter Milan goalkeeper realised his opportunities would be severely limited in Manchester. Onana's exit also highlights Amorim's ruthless approach to management. Over the past few months, he has shown no hesitation in moving on from players he no longer trusts, regardless of their status within the squad. Rasmus Højlund and now Onana have both gone from being regular starters to expendable figures once replacements were secured. This decisiveness, long overdue at United, reflects a cultural shift being driven by Ineos, where underperformance is no longer protected, and accountability is demanded at every level. For Onana, the loan move to Trabzonspor represents a chance to rebuild his career and regain confidence after a difficult year in Manchester. For United, it signals yet another step in the process of reshaping the squad to Amorim's image. Whether this bold approach pays off in the long run remains to be seen. But one thing is already clear. The days of sentiment at Old Trafford are over, and a new era of ruthlessness has truly begun. Again and again, Manchester United are set to maintain their interest in Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba. According to Fabrizio Romano, the Cameroon international was on the club's radar throughout the summer transfer window, with head coach Ruben Amorim identifying him as a player capable of providing the dynamism his midfield currently lacks. Amorim has quickly realized that for his system to function as intended, United need more legs and energy in the middle of the park. The aging Casemiro, who is widely expected to depart next year, and the underwhelming Manuel Ugarte have both struggled to deliver the control and stability required. Without that platform, captain Bruno Fernandes has found it difficult to consistently influence games further up the pitch. Baleba, at just 21 years old, has emerged as a solution. Blessed with power, mobility, and technical quality, he fits the profile of the type of midfielder Amorim wants to build around. However, Brighton were firm in their stance this summer, making it clear that their prized asset was not available for transfer. United's late attempts to strengthen the midfield, including an approach for Conor Gallagher, also failed to materialise. The inability to secure reinforcements has left United vulnerable in a key area, and it is no surprise that plans are already being drawn up for January or next summer. Romano has confirmed that Baleba will, for sure, remain on United's shortlist for the upcoming windows. The transfer insider also noted that the decision will come down to whether United are prepared to invest heavily to secure his signature. Brighton, for their part, are under no pressure to sell. Baleba is under contract until 2028, and the Seagulls expect him to reach another level this season. That growth could see his market value soar well above €100 million, placing them in a strong negotiating position should United or any other suitors come calling. For Amorim, the situation is clear. United need fresh legs and quality in midfield if his project is to succeed. Whether Baleba becomes the centerpiece of that rebuild may depend on how far the club is willing to go financially to land their long-term target. Meanwhile, Manchester United supporters have given a strong vote of confidence to academy starlet Sesko, with many believing he is the youngster most likely to make his first team debut this season. United's proud tradition of promoting youth was upheld last year when Toby Collier, Chido Obi, Harry Amas, and Tyler Fredrickson all featured for the senior side. The year before that, Kobbie Mainoo burst onto the scene, while Ethan Wheatley was also handed a brief chance to impress. Now, attention has turned to which player could be next. In a poll conducted by the People's Person, 48% of fans backed Cone to be the one who makes the step up. The 21-year-old midfielder, signed in the summer of 2024, caught the eye during the club's end-of-season tour of Asia before suffering a head injury in August. Thankfully, he is expected to return soon, and his emergence has already been cited as one reason United opted against signing another midfielder this summer. Behind Cone, Jack Fletcher, son of United legend Darren Fletcher, received 18% of the vote. The 18-year-old midfielder has impressed in pre-season and continues to progress rapidly through the academy ranks. Meanwhile, exciting fullback Bendito Mantato secured 17% of the votes, with many fans noting his suitability for Ruben Amorim's system that relies heavily on attacking wingbacks. Other names mentioned included Ethan Williams, 8%, who has since gone on loan to Falkirk after scoring in pre-season, Gibraltar international James, again and again. Manchester United's Premier League campaign is only 3 matches old, but already concerns are beginning to build around injuries within Ruben Amorim's squad. The Reds have endured a mixed start to the season, combining moments of promise with frustrations that have left supporters eager for consistency. While the Carabao Cup defeat to Grimsby Town marked an early low point, the team did show signs of encouragement in their narrow defeat to Arsenal and the hard-fought victory over Burnley at Old Trafford. When domestic football returns after the international break, United will be thrown straight into one of the toughest fixtures on the calendar, the Manchester Derby. Amorim's men make the short trip across the city to face Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, knowing that a positive result would not only boost confidence, but also underline the Portuguese coach's ability to handle the big occasions. However, injuries to several key players could complicate United's preparations for the derby. One of the biggest question marks surrounds Lisandro Martinez. The Argentine defender has been sidelined since February with a long-term injury, and while he has recently returned to light training on the Carrington pitches, a full starting role against City looks unlikely. United fans will be desperate to see him back in the heart of the defence, but Amorim will almost certainly ease him back gradually. At best, Martinez may take a place on the substitutes bench for the derby, providing a psychological boost even if his minutes are limited. Adding to the defensive worries, Diogo Dalot has become a fresh concern. The Portuguese fullback withdrew from his national squad during the international break due to what was described as muscle discomfort. Although there is hope that this is only a precautionary measure, Amorim must prepare for the possibility of being without him in such a crucial clash. Should Dalot miss out, Patrick Dorgu could be called upon to step in on the left side of defence, a scenario that would test United's depth in the full-back areas. The midfield situation also poses challenges. Mason Mount, who suffered an injury the last time United visited the Etihad Stadium, may once again be unavailable. The midfielder played through pain for around 30 minutes in the victory over Burnley before eventually being withdrawn, raising concerns about his match sharpness. While his issue is not considered to be serious, there are no guarantees he will be ready to start against City. Amorim may have to settle for using Mount as an impact substitute if he makes the squad at all. Up front, United are monitoring the condition of Matheus Cunha. The Brazilian forward, despite not yet finding the back of the net for the club, has been a constant source of energy and attacking threat. His pace, movement and pressing have been vital for Amorim's system, which makes his potential absence particularly worrying. Cunha appeared to pick up a hamstring injury in the win over Burnley, though he reassured fans on Instagram with a message stating he would be back soon. Whether soon means in time for the derby remains uncertain, leaving supporters and the coaching staff anxiously awaiting updates. The derby against City is never a straightforward affair, but United's current injury concerns only heighten the challenge. Amorim will need to balance risk with caution, ensuring that players are not rushed back prematurely, while still fielding a competitive lineup capable of frustrating Guardiola's side. The hope around Carrington is that at least 2 or 3 of the injury doubts, Mount, Cunha and Dalot, can recover in time to be part of the squad, even if not all are fully fit to start. Ultimately, the next week will be crucial for United's medical and coaching staff. A strong performance in the derby could set the tone for the months ahead, but Amorim must find solutions if key names remain sidelined. For the supporters, it is a waiting game, one filled with hope that the squad can overcome these setbacks and rise to the occasion when it matters most.